All right, guys. Hello, hello. It is Christine with Gauge Girl Training. I'm going to give you guys a few moments to join me. You are joining an episode of Gauge Girl Live. It is Tuesday here on YouTube, and I am really excited to be here today. What I'll be doing for the next 30 minutes is I will be answering your nutrition science questions. I'll be answering your questions about macros, your meal plan. Hey, Caitlin Strong, what's up? Alicia Wiedler, welcome. So you guys, I thank you all for being here today. Gauge Girl Training is an online meal planning and coaching service. I'm a food scientist and chemical engineer by training. And if you are just joining the broadcast, what we're doing here is we are answering your questions. So thank you, friends, for making it today. I see a lot of you joining the room. And what I ask you guys to do, hey everybody, Jennifer Marcus, hey girl. I ask you guys to give the video a thumbs up, shoot your questions over, and let's get this party started. Hello from LA. So there's only so many questions I can answer, but I know that the feed gets clogged up very quickly. Oh, hello, Shandi. How do you figure out macro range? That's an excellent question. Hey Jackie, hey Sandra Collins. So the way you figure out your macro range, I actually have an amazing YouTube video that is going live today. I've been editing it all night and all morning. I've been up since 4 a.m. So stay tuned for that. The YouTube video I'm uploading is a 30-minute video. It explains how to count macros as well as the 6 different macro approaches. And you may be like, what? There's more than one? And yes, there are 6. And I outline what those 6 different macro approaches are. You may not realize that there are 6 different approaches, and they're what I consider the most important. So Tina XO asks, question is there a certain amount of carbs I should be eating for weight loss? I have calculated my macros and caloric intake with your video with Alva, but maybe you're being impatient. The amount of carbs that you're going to need to support weight loss is going to be the balance of your calories after you have factored in your protein as well as the appropriate fat ratio. So if you've calculated your total calories, if you've applied a caloric deficit, and you have figured out how much protein you need and how much fat, the balance of your calories will be your carbs. So as long as you're doing that, you should be getting some progress. For everybody just joining the broadcast, welcome. Please give the video a thumbs up. Let's see here. Javon McKenzie asks, good macros for vegan weight loss with more than 30 pounds to lose. So Javon, there aren't different macros if you're a vegan. I think that tends to be a wake-up call for a lot of people. If you are a vegan, you still follow the assigned macros. You just make the foods that you can eat fit those macros. Now that may sound challenging for some, but that's how it works. So if you have no idea of how to reach certain levels of protein or how to get the carbs down or how to hit the fats on a vegan protocol, we have a great vegan budget shred. We have a vegan 21-day quick start plan. We have vegetarian protocols. So you don't need different macros if you are a vegan. You eat the same macros that you would eat just based off of your body's biochemical needs, and then you make vegan foods fit those macros. All right, let's see here. All right, Carmen, I don't want to butcher your last name, Sizelki says, I have a fit bracelet that says I burn 2,300 to 2,500 calories a day. I train daily. I only eat 16 to 1,700 calories. How is that possible? I find that Fitbit and a lot of those fit accessories tend to drastically overestimate the amount of calories you burn. I think they're fine if you're using them as a pedometer, but as far as calories burned, they are they over-exaggerate big time. Okay, let's see here. Oh my goodness, so many questions, but I am happy you are here, everybody. So somebody says, Dahlia Hino Hosa says, do I need to lose weight first or can I build muscle at the same time? I have 25 pounds to lose. So Dahlia, what I would tell you is this. If your body fat percentage is less than 25%, if you're even even if you're closer to 20%, if you're closer to 20 to 21%, you can take a lean gains approach to your nutrition where you focus on gaining lean muscle mass by putting your body in a caloric surplus of 300 calories above your TDEE. However, if you are above 25% body fat, you really want to focus on losing body fat first. So if you are closer to 20% or 20% or under in terms of your body fat, then I'd say go with our lean gains protocol to support that goal. Okay, let's see here. So many questions. Cruz Nuno says, true or false? Muscle weighs more than fat. False. Muscle and fat, like per pound, they weigh the same. The density is slightly different. Muscle is slightly more dense. Is keto a good idea for ectomorphs with too much body fat? You can do keto if you're an ectomorph. I find that ectomorphs have a tendency to do better when they go higher in carb and they start weight training. You certainly can do it. It wouldn't be my first recommendation. It would not be my first recommendation to you. Vanessa Perales asks, if I'm counting macros, is it okay to eat macros before bed? How much time before bed can I eat carbs? Thank you. Vanessa, the whole myth of carbs after dark is a myth. So as long as you're staying within your total daily macronutrient goals for the day and you still got food to go, I give it a pass. And I also give it a pass based off of my personal experiences when I was on contest prep doing 2-a-day cardio. And sometimes my last workout wouldn't get done until 10:30, 11 at night, and it's 11 at night and I still have to eat dinner, and I still ate and everything was fine as long as I stayed within my macro goals. Kay Will says, should I take probiotics or is exercise and eating right enough? So probiotics is something that you want to consider if you have some gut health issues. It's not really necessary as like a preventative measure, but if you do have some gut health issues, it could only help. Liliams says, I work out 30 minutes, 5 days a week. I eat around 1,400, but I try, but sometimes I'm eating 1,300, but sometimes I feel miserable until I get a cheat. I feel like it's hard. Should I work out longer? Liliams, based off of that information, I can't provide you a comprehensive answer. What I encourage you to do, I'm going to upload a new video in the next few hours. I'm still like fine-tuning the editing. Watch that video, follow the calculations. You need to have the whole picture. Don't just arbitrarily talk about calorie levels. You need to take it within the context of your basal metabolic rate times your activity. That gives you your total daily energy expenditure. Once you have your total daily energy expenditure, apply a caloric deficit and then take it from there. If you find that you are hungry and all you want to do is cheat, go at a slower rate. It would be better for you if by springtime, for those of you who are getting ready for spring break and whatnot, if by springtime you end up losing, half a pound a week, so let's say, I don't know, let's say that's 10, 12 weeks from now, and you end up losing 5 to 6 pounds of body fat, but keep your sanity versus losing 10 pounds, but you're going to rebound it all back. What's the point, guys? Like that extra little bit, it's not worth your sanity. So just make wise choices, guys. Oh my goodness, so many questions. Jessica Avila says, I'm doing the keto shred. I'm just wondering how to maintain after keto isn't realistic to live off of. I don't want to gain my weight back. What's a balanced way to maintain? Jessica Avila, that is an excellent question. And I actually addressed that in today's video that'll be going live. And I encourage you to take a low carb, high-fat approach to your nutrition moving forward. So what that means is you can still eat carbs, you can still be slightly higher in fat, but just not in a state of nutritional ketosis. And moving forward, what that will mean is you will probably eat generally less starchy carbs than you have been, relying on more of your carbs from vegetables and fruit. But I encourage you to shift your macro ratios to slightly less fat and slightly more carbs. And our 10-week low carb, high fat protocol is an excellent way to do that. I think keto is a great program to do seasonally. It is challenging to maintain it for a lifestyle or for a lifetime, but some people do and they thrive on it. So if you're just joining the broadcast, we've got a lot of people in the room here. Welcome. I ask all of you guys to please give the video a thumbs up. My name is Christine. I'm the owner and founder of Gauge Girl Training, an online meal planning and coaching service. I'm a food scientist and I'm answering your nutrition questions. And guys, I want to answer every question, but there are so many questions popping on the screen. Let's see here. Jessica Ray asks, is a fasted workout better than an evening? Now, Jessica, it depends. If you're at the point where you're trying to really shred down, and we're talking about like the difference between you being at like 10% body fat and 8% body fat, the morning is going to be a little bit more ideal. However, if you are just trying to burn calories, you're just trying to lose body fat, it doesn't matter what time of day, just get the workout done. So when I say shredding, I'm talking like if you're a fitness competitor and you're really trying to fine tune and micro optimize every last ounce on your body, fasted cardio will be slightly more advantageous under those conditions. But in general, just get the workouts done for most folks. Hello from Belgium. Amanda P says, how important is nutrient timing and protein source, meat versus plant, for muscle building? Nutrient timing after your workout is important. Now, the protein source, meat versus plant, it depends, because the reason why meat is slightly preferred in my professional opinion is because a lot of meats have a complete amino acid profile. So whereas some plant-based proteins only contain some of the essential amino acids, they don't contain all of the essential amino acids. The way you can combat that if you are following a plant-based or vegan lifestyle is mix up your protein sources. So for instance, don't only use one source of protein if you are a vegan. You want to mix it up, because the mixture and combination of the plant-based foods will round out and make sure that you are getting a good mix of the essential amino acids that you need. So that's important, and a lot of people don't realize that combination effect of plant-based proteins. If you're only using like one plant-based protein, it's not going to be sufficient for you to get all of your essential amino acids without supplementation. So be careful with that, because you do need those essential amino acids. If your body is not getting them from food, they are going to get them from your body's own muscle. Alicia Wiedler says, I have found even taking out sugar and eating low carb, I still seem to go over my carbs. Any tips? Follow a meal plan. Follow a preset meal plan to make sure that that is something that you are sticking to. Don't guess. Don't guess. Write it all out on paper. And if you don't know how to write it all out on paper and calculate your own meal plan, I suggest you order a custom meal plan. Jackie Serrato says, I'm a mesomorph. I'm 18. Huge fan, by the way. Thank you. Should I weight train and do cardio after if I want to lose weight? I have like a 39% body fat, so you are overweight. And how much of a deficit do you need? Excellent question. So you have that correct, Jackie Serrato. You definitely want to do your weights first. You want to do your cardio second. And the thing is, how much of a deficit do you need? I suggest doing at least a 500 calorie deficit. I'd say the absolute fastest possible deficit you can give yourself is 800, but I don't recommend you do that for a prolonged period of time. It's extremely aggressive. Stick to a 500 calorie deficit per day. Let's see here. Oh my goodness. SRU81 says, why do I feel nauseous after drinking my protein? What is max protein grams to eat within a meal to not feel nauseous, either protein entrees or shakes? So I'm sorry to hear that you are feeling nauseous after you're eating protein. I would encourage you to eat a little bit slower. I would encourage you to use a cleaner protein powder, meaning one that has less artificial sweeteners. I would also encourage you to take a supplement before you have protein, and this supplement is called Protease, Protease. Protease is a protein-specific digestive enzyme which will allow your body to specifically help break down protein in your system. You can buy this as a standalone digestive enzyme, which I suggest you do. If you're ever buying digestive enzymes, guys, don't get those ones that are like mixed with all kinds. I suggest you purchase the digestive enzyme that your body is deficient in. So get Protease and make sure that you are at a rate of, not a rate, at a dosage of approximately 150,000 CFUs per mil. CFU stands for colony forming units per mil or per gram. So that'll help minimize some of the nausea. Eat a little bit slower. And if it's just too much for you, have a smaller portion. Let's see here. Devin Miranda says, how long do you think it would take to lose 40 pounds? I plan on doing shreds back to back, but I don't know if I need to do something more drastic to get the results you need in time for your wedding. So Devin Miranda, 40 pounds. Like I said, you could lose up to 1 pound of body fat per week. Now, on the shreds, you can technically lose a little bit more depending on what your starting point is. Now, to lose 40 pounds, if we're talking 1 pound a week, we're talking 40 weeks. Now, you can accelerate that by doing more cardio. You can accelerate that by eating a little bit less or giving yourself more of a caloric deficit. But you want to be careful because can you lose weight faster? Technically, yes. Is that going to be the best thing for you in the long run? Probably not. So just be careful with that. If you have a very specific question, because it sounds like you have a time sensitive goal, Devin, and it sounds like you might actually do a little bit better with a custom meal plan. We can do a one-on-one consultation and set you up, because time sensitive goals, every little thing needs to be calculated. And I've worked with a lot of brides who had, again, a very specific targeted rate, and brides take their nutrition just as seriously as our fitness competitors. So not that everybody else here isn't, but there's a lot of motivation for those folks. Thoughts on bulletproof coffee with ghee? Renee M asks. I see no problem with it. If you have some dairy intolerances, I think that's a great idea if that fits within your macro goals. Sarah Bella asks, is steady state cardio on step mill or jogging best for an endomorph with the last 10 pounds to lose? So Sarah Bella, it's going to matter more about your target heart rate. So if you are an endomorph and you tend to be a little bit more bottom heavy and you want to maintain your curves and you really want to keep your lower half of your body the same, you just kind of want to get a little bit leaner everywhere else, I would say do the stair mill, because it's going to concentrate on your lower body, which is fine. But if you want to lose weight overall and you feel like you're just too big everywhere, running is going to be a little bit more ideal for that. Oh, fantastic. Oh, so you have until August, so you have enough time, Devin. I think that's great. Sarah Sater asks, for a newbie trying to gain muscle, trying to do a lean bulk, how long should you bulk before cutting? I suggest at least a minimum of 6 weeks. Minimum of 6 weeks. Patricia says, in a year doing exercise 3 to 5 days a week, I wasn't able to lose any weight. I am a vegan and eat healthy. Lately, I've been checking my macros and feel that maybe I was eating over my carbs. Makes sense? It makes complete sense. A lot of typical vegan protocols are unfortunately, they're like 80% carbs, you guys. Look at the foods on vegan plans, like beans and rice, and they're mostly carbs. So I highly recommend you, Patricia, to, it sounds like you're working hard. It sounds like you're putting in the effort. Try our vegan shred protocol. I'm telling you, it will change the way you look at vegan nutrition because it is macros based, but it has the foods formulated and built in such a way to allow you to hit the style of macros that you need to hit these goals. And it's going to feel different. It's going to feel different, but check out the vegan budget shred. So I have about 9.5 more minutes, guys. If you are joining, please give the video a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. Gabriela Herrera asks, will weightlifting help with loose skin and the aesthetic appearance? It can certainly help. It can certainly help. I've seen it help a lot for some folks. I would also encourage you to focus on losing weight slow and steady, not necessarily fast. But the thing is, loose skin, it depends on how much loose skin we're talking about. If it's kind of a little bit of loose skin from like post baby weight and like, after having a child, I've seen women rebound amazingly on that by losing body fat. If you have lost a substantial amount of weight, when I say a substantial amount of weight, if we're talking like that 100 pounds plus range, don't feel bad if you need to consider a surgical option to address that. And the thing is, there's so much you can do with health and nutrition, but if it's just an extreme amount of loose excess skin, don't be afraid to consider a surgical option. And like I said, it's very rare I recommend surgery to anybody, but that's one of those circumstances that you may want to get a consultation and see what your doctor says. Let's see here. Rob Ali says, hi, Christine. Is it a myth that the scale won't change if you're trying to gain muscle while losing fat at the same time? It's not necessarily a myth. I mean, you can not lose weight according to the scale, but have a change in your body composition. That's not the case for everybody. That's not the case for everybody, but it can certainly be the case. It's a balance. You are shifting your body composition from more muscle to less fat. So let's see. Thank you so much, Sarabella. Marlon Mendoza says, what is the cleanest protein I would recommend from my brand? Well, my brand is not for sale at this time. So as far as a clean protein powder, I would recommend you guys get any sort of protein powder, whether it's a collagen protein, whether it's a whey-based protein that is unflavored. When I say completely unflavored and natural by itself. Now, for those of you who have a sweet tooth and are used to protein powders tasting like milkshakes, just note that you are sparing. I'm talking like, look at the ingredient panel and make sure that there's only one ingredient. If that, like for instance, if you're ordering a whey protein isolate, make sure it's only whey protein isolate. If it's a whey protein concentrate, make sure it's only whey protein concentrate. If it's a collagen, make sure it is only a collagen. If you do that, you can always add cocoa powder and some stevia or sucralose if you like it, if you don't mind artificial sweeteners. Or you could always add in the flavor to it, or you can use fruit, or you can pick the sweetener of your choice. It's going to be the cleanest way to go about it. Thelma Chavez asks, if I do cardio with weights on, do you think I would lose weight quicker? Thelma, what I do think is that you will burn more calories per session. And if you consistently burn more calories per day, every day, yes, you can technically lose weight faster. Just make sure that if you are, anytime, this is for everybody, anytime you are increasing the intensity of your cardio or increasing the intensity of your workout, watch your hunger signals. And the reason I say this, sometimes the added intensity is not worth it if it makes you hungrier. Let me repeat that. Sometimes the added intensity is not worth it if it makes you hungrier, because the point is to maintain a caloric deficit. And so many people think that the whole point of doing a workout is to burn an F ton of calories and to run fast or to lift heavy. The point is to maintain the caloric deficit. If you work out so hard, which is great, but it makes you so effing hungry with what food you do have, number one, you're going to have to readjust your macros. You've got to find that correct balance that works for you of enough intensity that you're enjoying the workout and it's an effective workout, but not necessarily so intense that you are ravenous. Does that make sense, guys? And this was one of the biggest lessons I learned when I first started on my journey. This was probably around, oh my goodness, around 2009 or so. That was a huge lesson for me. Corinne and Nisa says, I have a huge sweet tooth when I'm changing your diet. The hardest thing is not eating sweets. What should you do? I encourage you to go for protein shakes. When I have sugar cravings, which is rare, I have more of a salt tooth. I have a tendency to make chocolate protein shakes. Make chocolate protein shakes. Get the chocolate flavor, add ice, add a little bit of fruit if you must, but utilize protein powders for the sweetness, because that's going to be the best thing. And you can make protein powders taste really, really, really good. Oh, awesome, Patricia. Check it out. You'll really like it. Calisthenics Fit Life. What happens to people who were on keto for a long time and they started getting fat? What macro will they cut out completely now? Well, being on keto means you do need to be, and if you are doing a ketogenic diet, you could be doing any diet and get fat. Does that make sense? You need to be in a caloric deficit. So you could be eating keto foods, but not in a caloric deficit relative to your total daily energy expenditure. So it's about dialing that in, not about eliminating more stuff. And there are things that you would want to potentially shift on keto. I've had some clients we've shifted their macro ratios away from conventional keto, and it's been helpful. It's my pleasure, Calisthenics Fit Life. Maria Pena says, I have a question. I'm an endomorph. I had my gallbladder removed. Do I think that the keto would be good for you to lose weight? No, I don't. If you do not have a gallbladder, you're going to have a hard time digesting all of that fat. I don't recommend you do so without a gallbladder unless you are on some ox bile supplementation. No. Caitlin Strong says, do we need a gym or can we get the same results at home? You can get the same results at home. You absolutely can. The key is dialing in your nutrition and tailoring your training around that. Olga, oh my goodness, I don't want to butcher your last name, babe. Hi, I am 5'2". I'm 109 pounds. I do weights 4 to 5 times a week, 2 times cardio a week. You eat 1,700 calories. You don't have fat anywhere except your belly, and you can't get rid of it for a long time. Why? Ooh, that's a loaded question. That is a loaded question. Based off of that, I'd have to ask you, what is your macro ratio split? It sounds like you're very lean. I would almost even guess to say that you might, no, it's between 16 and 1700 calories. That sounds about right for where you're at. You sound very lean. I ask you, what are your current macro ratios? I encourage you to get a one-on-one consultation so we can go more in depth and really fine tune it for you, because I've seen that in so many people, and I can tell you that stubborn body fat, specifically in the torso, can be eliminated if you dial in your macros. You will be mind blown what macro tweaking can do. So let's look at your macros. Do I calculate the macros in your seasonings for your food? Garlic powder, salt, pepper, Italian seasoning. If you're on a non-keto protocol, I say you don't have to count that stuff as long as they're just like basic herbal seasonings. If you are on keto, unfortunately, you do need to count some of those things. So guys, thank you all for joining me today. That's all I have time for. I kindly ask you guys to please give this video a thumbs up if you'd like to continue to see these live broadcasts. So thank you guys for joining. I will see you tomorrow at noon Eastern Standard Time, and thank you for joining me. Oh, and if you guys have more questions for me or you want to program